Eli ran through the crowded streets of the city, his backpack bouncing against his shoulders. Neon signs flashed above him, painting the rain-soaked sidewalks with red, blue, and green light. The city never slept, and even at night, people hurried to and fro, drones buzzed overhead, and the trams rattled along their rails. Eli loved this part of the city, the old tram lines that most people avoided. They were quiet, hidden, and full of strange stories no one believed. Eli had always been curious. Even when the other kids in his school teased him for exploring abandoned places, he never cared. He liked to see things no one else noticed. Tonight, he was chasing a rumor about one of the old tram stations. They said it had been closed for decades, but the doors were never locked. Some people whispered that strange animals lived there, creatures no one could explain. Eli liked creatures. The rain fell harder as he reached the station. The gates were rusty, swinging slightly in the wind. The tracks were wet and shiny, reflecting the city lights like a river of fire. Eli stepped carefully onto the platform, trying not to slip. The station smelled of old metal and wet stone. He heard a soft noise, almost like a small whimper, coming from the shadows near the tram tracks. He froze. "Hello?" he called softly. His voice echoed through the empty station. There was no answer, only the sound of rain hitting the roof. Eli took another step forward and saw a movement by the rails. His heart skipped. Something small and glowing crouched there, tiny wings folded on its back. It was no bigger than a cat, but it shimmered with colors like fire trapped inside glass. Its eyes were large, golden, and full of curiosity. Eli blinked. Is that a dragon?" he whispered. The creature tilted its head, as if it understood. A faint puff of smoke escaped its tiny nostrils, curling in the cold air. It made a soft, almost musical chirp. Eli slowly crouched, holding out his hand. The little dragon didn't run. Instead, it inched closer, its small claws tapping lightly on the wet metal. Eli's heart raced. He had read about dragons in old books and stories, but he never thought he would see one in real life. And here it was, right in the middle of the city, riding a tram station in the rain. He had to know why it was here. "Hey, little guy," Eli whispered, "where did you come from?" The dragon chirped again and flapped its wings, but it was too small to fly. Its glowing scales pulsed softly with every beat of its tiny heart. Eli noticed a small bracelet of unknown metal on one of its legs. Strange symbols were engraved on it, glowing faintly like the creature itself. Eli's curiosity grew. Someone must have lost it, or maybe it had escaped. Eli slowly knelt, keeping his movements calm. He knew any sudden action could scare it away. The dragon chirped again and nudged his hand. It was warm, warmer than any normal animal, almost alive with energy. Eli smiled, amazed. He had never felt anything like this. "It's okay," he said softly. "I won't hurt you." The little dragon tilted its head, then did something unexpected. It hopped lightly onto the tram platform railing. It looked back at Eli, then at the tracks, as if it wanted him to follow. Eli's curiosity turned into excitement. The dragon was leading him somewhere. Without thinking, Eli followed the tiny creature along the tracks. The old tram was parked further down the line, rusted but still intact. The dragon climbed onto one of the seats and chirped again, this time louder, almost like it was laughing. Eli carefully stepped inside. The tram smelled of old wood and oil, but it also felt alive, as if the dragon had been living here for some time. Eli watched the little dragon with awe. "You ride the tram every day?" he asked, a little amazed. The dragon chirped in response and fluffed its tiny wings. Then, without warning, it hopped down and scampered to the far end of the tram, tapping a glowing paw on a panel Eli had never noticed. Lights flickered along the tram walls, and Eli realized the old tram had something unusual about it. Suddenly, the tram rumbled softly, as if it was waking up. Eli stumbled back in surprise. "Wait, it moves," he whispered. The dragon chirped proudly and flapped its tiny wings again. Eli's mind raced. How could this tiny creature control the tram? Was it intelligent, smarter than he had imagined? Eli felt a strange bond forming. He didn't know this little dragon, but somehow, he knew they would trust each other. The dragon had chosen him, and he had chosen it. There was something special about this creature, something beyond explanation. Eli stayed on the tram until the first hints of dawn touched the city skyline. The little dragon curled up near his feet, tired but content. Eli realized that this was only the beginning. He didn't know why the dragon rode the tram, or what secrets the tram held, but he knew one thing for certain: his life had just changed forever. As the sun rose over the city, Eli whispered, "Tomorrow, we'll find out your secret, together." The dragon chirped in agreement, tiny flames flickering softly along its scales. Eli smiled, excitement and wonder filling his chest. The city had secrets, and now he was part of one of the biggest mysteries it had ever held. Eli woke the next morning feeling restless. He could still hear the faint purr of the little dragon's wings in his mind. He hurried to the tram station as soon as he could, careful not to be late for school, but not wanting to leave the dragon alone either. He had named it Lumo yesterday, after the soft light that seemed to glow from its scales. It was a fitting name for a creature that lit up even the darkest corners of the city. When he reached the station, Lumo was already there, perched on the same rail where Eli had first found him. The tiny dragon's golden eyes glimmered as soon as it saw Eli. It let out a small chirp, almost as if it was happy to see him. Eli smiled. "Good morning, Lumo," he said softly. "Did you wait for me?" Lumo flapped its wings and hopped down to the ground. It brushed against Eli's leg, warm and alive, full of energy. Eli knelt and held out his hand. The dragon didn't hesitate this time. It climbed onto his arm and wrapped its tiny tail around his wrist. Eli could feel a gentle heat, like the warmth of a tiny furnace inside Lumo's body. "Okay," Eli whispered, "we need to figure out why you're riding this tram every night." He glanced at the rusty tram parked on the tracks. The old vehicle seemed almost ordinary, but he knew it was not. Lumo had been showing him something unusual, something secret. And Eli wanted to understand it. Over the next few days, Eli began visiting Lumo after school. He would bring small bits of food, meat scraps, bread, even a few pieces of fruit. Lumo ate cautiously at first, sniffing and tapping the food with its tiny claws, but soon it devoured the offerings eagerly. Each time, it chirped happily, curling around Eli's wrist like a pet. Eli felt proud, as if he had earned the trust of something rare and extraordinary. One evening, Eli followed Lumo as it hopped onto the tram again. This time, he noticed something strange. When Lumo touched the glowing panel with its paw, the tram didn't just rattle, it moved on its own. Eli's eyes widened. You're controlling it?" he whispered. Lumo chirped and flapped its wings, tapping another small panel. The tram started gliding along the tracks smoothly, lights flickering along the walls. It was almost magical. Eli realized Lumo was more than just a dragon, it was intelligent. It understood things he could barely imagine. The tram responded to Lumo's movements, as if the little dragon was the conductor of an invisible orchestra. Eli felt a mix of awe and fear. If anyone else saw this, they would surely try to take Lumo away. He had to protect him. Over the next week, Eli and Lumo spent more time together. Eli would ride the tram with Lumo every night, exploring the old abandoned lines. Lumo showed him hidden tunnels, secret rooms filled with strange equipment, and panels with symbols that glowed faintly in the dark. Eli tried to touch some of the symbols, but Lumo would tap his hand lightly with its paw, almost scolding him. It was protective, as if it knew these places were dangerous for humans. One night, Eli asked, "Why are you here, Lumo? Why do you ride the tram alone?" The dragon tilted its head and chirped softly, nuzzling his arm. Eli felt a strange connection, he could almost understand the dragon's feelings without words. Lumo seemed lonely, lost, but also brave. It had a purpose, and it trusted Eli enough to share it. As the nights passed, Eli discovered that Lumo could communicate in small ways, tapping patterns on the tram panels, chirping with different tones, and even using its wings to signal him. Eli began to understand these signals. He realized Lumo was showing him a map of the hidden tram network, a place humans had forgotten. The little dragon was guiding him through a secret world, one that was connected to the city but invisible to ordinary people. Eli felt a growing sense of responsibility. Lumo had chosen him, and he had chosen Lumo. They were partners now. The city might be big and full of dangers, but together, they could explore it, uncover its secrets, and protect each other. Eli's heart swelled with courage. He knew that even though he was just a human boy, he could do extraordinary things if he tried. One night, as they traveled through a particularly dark and narrow tunnel, Lumo suddenly stopped. It tapped a panel with glowing symbols, and a section of the wall slid open, revealing a hidden room. Inside, Eli saw strange, ancient equipment and a soft, golden light. The room felt alive, almost like it was waiting for someone to return. Lumo chirped excitedly, flapping its wings. Eli's eyes widened in amazement. "This is incredible," Eli whispered. "You've been bringing me here for a reason, haven't you?" Lumo chirped again and nudged his hand. Eli realized that the dragon trusted him completely. Whatever secrets the tram held, he was meant to discover them alongside Lumo. From that night on, Eli and Lumo's bond grew stronger. They explored the secret tram lines, shared small adventures, and watched over each other. Eli learned that courage was not just about fighting, it was about caring, trusting, and protecting those who were weaker. Lumo was small, but it had chosen him, and in return, Eli felt he could do anything to keep it safe. Eli knew one thing for certain: this little dragon had changed his life forever. And he couldn't wait to uncover the secrets that lay ahead in the city's hidden tram network. Together, they were ready for anything: danger, mystery, and the extraordinary. Eli had never seen anything like the hidden room. Its walls glowed faintly with golden light, and strange symbols were etched into the metal. The air smelled warm, like sunlight on a cold morning. Lumo chirped and fluttered its tiny wings, hopping from one panel to another. It was excited, almost proud, as if it had been waiting for someone like Eli to arrive. Eli stepped cautiously inside. His fingers brushed the symbols, and tiny sparks ran along the walls, making the room hum softly. "What is this place?" he whispered. Lumo chirped in response and tapped a glowing panel with its paw. A holographic map appeared, floating in midair. Lines of light traced paths through the city, twisting and turning into tunnels Eli didn't know existed. This is incredible," Eli murmured. "It's a secret tram network." He looked at Lumo. "You've been using this, every night?" The dragon chirped and nudged his hand. Eli understood immediately. Lumo had been guiding him here all along, showing him a part of the city no human had seen for decades. He examined the holographic map more closely. Symbols marked stations long abandoned, and there were glowing points along the rails that pulsed like tiny stars. Eli realized the tram system wasn't just for travel, it was connected to something bigger, something ancient. The way the lights pulsed, the way Lumo could control them, it was like the tram itself had a heartbeat. Eli felt a shiver run down his spine. "This is alive, isn't it?" he whispered. Lumo chirped, almost answering. The dragon moved closer to a console that looked like a control panel. When it touched a symbol with its tiny paw, the entire room shifted. A hidden door slid open, revealing another tunnel. Eli gasped. "You've been keeping this a secret, why?" Lumo chirped again, flapping its wings. Eli realized that the dragon wasn't just hiding from people, it was protecting something. Something important. He stepped forward slowly. The tunnel was dark, but the walls glowed faintly, lighting their path. Every step they took echoed, but Eli didn't feel afraid. He felt chosen. Lumo had brought him here for a reason. As they moved deeper, Eli saw strange machines built into the walls. They were old, covered in dust, but some of them still hummed with energy. Wires ran along the floors and ceiling like glowing veins. He had no idea what they did, but he knew they were powerful. He reached out and touched a panel, it vibrated gently, and tiny sparks danced across his fingers. Lumo chirped sharply, warning him not to touch more. Eli realized that Lumo wasn't just a passenger, it was the key. Without the dragon, these machines would remain dormant. And without someone brave enough to follow it, the secret of the tram would never be revealed. He looked down at the little creature, who blinked at him with wide, golden eyes. "Okay," he whispered. "I'll follow you. I'll help you." Lumo chirped and tapped another glowing symbol. The tram outside rumbled softly, as if it understood they were about to move. Eli stepped onto the tram, with Lumo perched on his shoulder. He pressed a small lever that Lumo indicated, and the tram started moving. But this time, it wasn't following the old tracks. It glided along hidden rails, twisting through tunnels that seemed impossible. Lights flickered along the walls, showing strange murals of dragons and humans working together. Eli stopped for a moment, staring in awe. He had read about dragons in old stories, but seeing their history etched into the city's tunnels made it real. Lumo chirped again, urging him forward. Eli noticed a larger panel ahead. When Lumo touched it, a holographic image appeared, a city long ago, with dragons flying above humans, helping them build, protect, and explore. Eli's heart raced. He understood now, dragons had once been part of this world, working alongside humans. And Lumo was one of the last of its kind. Suddenly, a soft alarm echoed through the tunnels. Eli's pulse quickened. He had been so fascinated by the secret tram that he hadn't noticed the sensors activating. Lumo flapped its wings nervously, chirping urgently. Eli realized that the tram network, while hidden, was still being monitored. Someone, or something, didn't want them here. Eli took a deep breath. "We can't let them catch you," he whispered. He looked at the dragon, who nodded, tiny wings trembling but determined. Together, they moved through the tunnels, using the tram to evade the sensors. Eli's heart pounded, but he felt alive. He was human, small and fragile compared to the dangers around him, but he had courage, intelligence, and trust in Lumo. That was enough. As they reached a wide chamber, Eli saw something extraordinary. The tram tracks ended at a glowing pool of golden energy. It pulsed gently, and Lumo chirped excitedly, hopping near it. Eli realized this was the source of the tram's power, and perhaps the reason dragons like Lumo still existed. The energy seemed alive, as if it remembered the bond between humans and dragons. Eli knelt beside Lumo, placing his hand on the glowing pool. A warm sensation ran through him, and he felt connected to something bigger than the city, bigger than himself. Lumo chirped softly, and Eli smiled. "I understand now," he whispered. "You've been protecting this, and you've chosen me to help." The little dragon nuzzled his cheek. Eli felt a sense of pride and responsibility. He was human, small and fragile in a city full of danger, but he had been given a chance to protect something extraordinary. Together, he and Lumo were ready to face whatever secrets the tram, and the city, had hidden for decades. Eli had never felt so alive. The secret tram network, the glowing energy, and Lumo at his side made him feel like he was part of something bigger than himself. But that feeling didn't last long. As they explored deeper into the tunnels, a faint vibration ran through the ground. Eli paused. Lumo's wings flared, and the tiny dragon let out a sharp chirp, warning him. Suddenly, lights blinked along the walls, red and harsh. A mechanical hum filled the air, louder and faster than the tram's usual rumble. Eli's heart raced. "Something's coming," he whispered. Lumo leapt onto his shoulder, claws digging lightly into his jacket. Eli could feel the dragon's energy pulsing against him, stronger and braver than ever. From around the corner, a group of drones appeared, sleek and black, their sensors glowing like angry eyes. They moved quickly, scanning every inch of the tunnels. Eli ducked behind a support pillar, holding Lumo close. The little dragon chirped, wings flapping nervously. "We can't fight them, Lumo," Eli said softly. "We need to be smart." The drones stopped, sensing the movement of the tram. Eli realized they weren't random, they were hunting. Someone had discovered the Tram network, and they wanted Lumo. Eli clenched his fists. He might be small, human, and fragile, but he refused to let anyone hurt the dragon. He whispered, "Follow me. Stay close." He pressed a hidden lever on the tram. The vehicle hummed to life, and they slid along the rails, twisting and turning through the tunnels. The drones followed, their mechanical legs clanging against the metal floors. Sparks flew as the tram narrowly avoided them, Eli leaning and ducking, Lumo holding tight on his shoulder. "Hang on, little guy," Eli muttered. "We're not giving up." Lumo chirped sharply, wings flaring, as if agreeing. Eli realized something amazing. Lumo's energy wasn't just light or warmth. It seemed to guide the tram, helping it move faster, respond faster. They weren't just running, they were fighting back with brains, courage, and trust. Eli remembered the murals in the tunnels, images of dragons helping humans build cities, protect them from danger, and fight impossible odds. He realized this was no accident. Humans and dragons had always been stronger together. And even though most humans had forgotten, he and Lumo were proving it again. As they turned a sharp corner, a large wall of sensors blocked the way. The drones were closing in. Eli's mind raced. He remembered the glowing pool of energy from earlier. "Lumo, can we reach the energy room again?" he whispered. The dragon chirped sharply and tapped its claws against his hand. Eli understood, they had one chance. He guided the tram through narrow side tunnels, dodging sensors and leaping over gaps. Sparks flew, metal scraped, and the drones pursued relentlessly. Eli's heart pounded, but he never panicked. Each decision, each move, mattered. Lumo chirped, and Eli felt a strange warmth in his chest. The dragon was lending him strength, courage beyond his own. Finally, they reached the glowing pool. Eli leapt from the tram and pressed his hand to the surface. Energy surged through him like a wave. Lumo chirped, small wings beating rapidly. Together, they could feel the pulse of the tram network, the ancient bond between dragons and humans. Eli understood what he had to do. He ran back to the tram, using the energy pool as a shield. The drones smashed into invisible barriers of light, sparks flying from contact. Eli pressed a panel on the tram, and the rails shifted, creating new paths that only the tram could follow. Lumo guided him expertly, and for the first time, Eli felt the full power of their partnership. They weren't running, they were controlling the chase. The drones hesitated, confused by the changing rails. Eli's grin grew. "We've got this, Lumo," he whispered. The dragon chirped proudly, as if it knew the human was learning its ways. Together, they twisted through tunnels, leapt gaps, and finally reached a hidden exit that led to a safe chamber deep beneath the city. Eli leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Lumo curled up on his shoulder, wings relaxed now. "We made it," Eli said softly, smiling at the tiny creature. "They can't get us here." The chamber was quiet except for the soft hum of the tram network and the faint glow of the hidden energy. For the first time, Eli felt a calm he had never known in the city above. He realized something important: being human didn't mean being weak. Courage, intelligence, and heart were stronger than machines, bigger than fear. And when humans worked together with creatures like Lumo, they could face dangers no one else could overcome. Eli's chest swelled with pride. He had saved the dragon, protected the secrets of the tram, and proven that humans could do extraordinary things. As he sat quietly, watching Lumo rest, Eli made a promise. "No one will take you away. I'll protect you, and together, we'll uncover every secret this city holds." Lumo chirped softly, wings brushing his cheek. Eli smiled. The bond between them was unbreakable now, forged in danger, trust, and courage. And even though the city above slept unaware, Eli knew one thing for certain: they were ready for whatever came next. Whatever threats, mysteries, or challenges the hidden tram network held, Eli and Lumo would face them together. Humans might be small, fragile, and ordinary on the surface, but with courage, heart, and determination, they could do things no one expected. and Eli, the human boy, and Lumo, the dragon hatchling, were living proof. Eli sat beside Lumo, the little dragon curled on his shoulder, its warm glow lighting the chamber. The danger had passed, for now, but Eli knew the secret of the tram network was bigger than just them. He could feel it in the hum of the rails, in the energy pulsing from the hidden pool, and in the way Lumo's scales flickered with quiet excitement. Something incredible waited ahead, something that could change the city forever. "Come on, Lumo," Eli whispered. "Let's see what this place really is." The dragon chirped and leapt lightly onto the tram's control panel. Lights flickered along the rails, and a new path opened, one deeper and brighter than anything Eli had seen before. The tram moved forward, gliding along rails that seemed to float in golden light. Eli held his breath. The tram slowed at a wide chamber at the heart of the tunnels. The walls glowed with symbols, murals of dragons flying above humans, guarding cities, helping them build, fight, and explore. Eli realized the chamber wasn't just a room, it was a shrine, a sanctuary, a memory of a time when dragons and humans worked together. And Lumo was the key to it. The golden pool shimmered brighter than ever. Eli stepped closer, his heart pounding. He reached out and touched the surface. Energy flowed through him, not painfully, but like sunlight warming his skin. He felt connected to the city, to the tram network, and to every hidden corner of the tunnels. Lumo chirped and tapped his hand, guiding him toward a strange console at the center of the room. Eli looked at the console. Panels of unknown metal glowed softly. It seemed old, ancient, and alive. He realized that this was the control hub for the hidden tram network and the dragon sanctuary. If he could unlock it, if he could understand it, he could protect Lumo and keep the sanctuary safe. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the chamber. Eli spun around. The drones from before had returned, faster and more powerful than he remembered. They moved through the tunnels like hunting predators, sensors scanning for movement. Eli's chest tightened. They weren't just after Lumo, they were after the sanctuary itself. Lumo chirped sharply and flapped its wings, sending sparks flying along the panels. Eli's mind raced. "We can do this," he whispered. "We just have to be smart." He pressed a lever indicated by Lumo's taps. A shield of golden energy erupted around the chamber, blocking the drone's entry. The machines hummed and glowed, responding to Lumo's energy and Eli's guidance. The drone struck the shield, sparks flying and metal clanging. Eli felt fear for a moment, but then he remembered something. Humans were small, but they could be clever. And he had Lumo, a dragon, by his side. Together, they were unstoppable. He adjusted the levers, opened hidden tunnels, and guided the drones into traps along the way. Each move required courage, speed, and quick thinking. Each move proved that even a human boy could challenge forces much stronger than himself. Finally, the last drone slammed into a trap and deactivated with a hiss. Eli exhaled, sweat running down his face. Lumo chirped proudly, wings flaring, glowing brighter than ever. Eli realized they had won, not with brute strength, but with courage, trust, and intelligence. Humans might be small, but their heart, their choices, and their determination could change the outcome of impossible battles. Eli turned back to the sanctuary. The golden pool glowed, pulsing with life. He pressed the central panel, following Lumo's guidance. A series of holographic projections lit up the chamber. Images of humans and dragons working together filled the room. Cities had thrived, storms had been fought, and threats from the skies had been stopped. Eli understood now, the tram network, the sanctuary, and Lumo were part of a legacy humans had almost forgotten. He knelt and looked at Lumo. "You've been protecting this all along. And now, we're going to protect it together." Lumo chirped softly, nudging his cheek. Eli felt a surge of pride. He was human. He was small. But with courage, heart, and a dragon by his side, he could achieve extraordinary things. The tram doors opened, and Eli stepped out with Lumo on his shoulder. The city above was quiet now, but he knew it wouldn't stay that way. people would eventually notice the dragons again. Some might fear them. Some might try to control them. But Eli was ready. He had learned that humans could fight with more than just strength, they could fight with bravery, loyalty, and cleverness. From that day on, Lumo rode the city trams openly. Children and adults whispered in awe as the little dragon hopped aboard, sparks flickering along its scales. Eli walked beside it proudly, knowing the world had just started to notice something humans had always known: courage, heart, and determination could make the impossible possible. And deep in the tunnels, the sanctuary thrummed with life, alive with energy, dragons, and human ingenuity. Eli smiled. He had uncovered a secret, protected a legacy, and proved that even one human boy could make a difference. Lumo chirped, and Eli reached down to scratch behind its ears. "Ready for the next adventure?" he asked. The dragon chirped again, flapping its wings in agreement. Eli laughed. Whatever mysteries the city and the universe held, he knew one thing for sure: humans, even small and ordinary, could achieve extraordinary things when they dared to try. Together, Eli and Lumo vanished into the tram tunnels, ready to face whatever secrets or dangers awaited. And the city, for the first time in decades, began to remember the bond between humans and dragons, a bond that could never be broken.